Everybody, and welcome to the December 6th ZBA meeting. I'm Patty Kelly, the chair. First thing I want to do is do the roll call. So Henry Rua, who is the vice chair, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
Joe Mayone?
Yes, I am.
Tim Scott?
Here.
Randy Ricks?
Yes, ma'am.
And Holly, who is our alternate? Holly Strutt is here? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Holly, I would like to ask you to join the board during the Tarpon portion of our agenda. Do you accept that?
Yes.
Okay. And then Randy, you will be on for all of the rest of it, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just want to apologize. I have a very hoarse, raspy voice tonight. If for any reason you can't hear me or I'm not understandable, just let me know and I'll speak louder. I just want to make sure everybody can hear what I'm saying. And if not, Henry is prepared to jump in and read something if I'm not able to. So we're going to begin tonight with Honorland LLC. It's a new application. They want to build property on the Hudson River in Malden. They received a rejection notice or a denial notice from the building inspector because they are in the waterfront overlay district, which requires being 50 feet from the mean tide of the river. And they are only going to be, they want a 25-foot variance. So Mr. Or Diego, I'll just call you Diego.
Yes.
Could you just kind of tell us exactly what happened? That did you not know you were in the water, the overlay district for the waterfront overlay? Or
no, we knew we were in the water overlay district. That's an assumption if you're within 1,000 feet of the water's edge, I believe. The scenario here is that the property is just slightly over a half an acre. It's 0.66 of an acre. And I want to say like 60% of the property is in the water in the Hudson River. So that only gives a small buildable area or just area outside of the river. And after setbacks, front, side setbacks, and the 50-foot setback from the mean water's edge, we have, I want to say essentially 10 to 15% buildable area that at most is 10 feet wide or 8 feet wide, not giving us sufficient space to put a building in there. So this is a habitable piece of property. Therefore, we want to build on it. But after setbacks, there's only a small sliver of land that is actually buildable. We submitted drawings, so I don't know if anybody had a chance to review that. But
we did. My question was just, did you know about the required setbacks before you submitted it to the planning board?
Yes.
Okay, just so you came into knowing it and
Yes.
okay.
I'm sorry for the extra information.
Now we're going to have to set a public hearing on this. You know that?
Okay. Yes,
Okay.
we understand.
Does any member of the board have any questions before we move on to setting the public hearing? Hearing none, can I have a motion to set a public hearing on this application for January 6th from someone?
I'll make a motion, Patty.
Okay, and do we have a
I'll
second?
second.
And Tim seconds. Okay, Henry, your vote?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Randy?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Kevin will explain to you, Diego, the process for
Okay.
public hearing. You're going to
Yes.
have to send out certified letters. He will give you the names of the people and the addresses that they have to go to, plus a draft of what you should be saying to them. And then he will be in touch with you about getting those cards back from you.
Great.
All right.
So I'll just send that by email, Diego. So you'll get the spreadsheet of all the property owners within 500 feet. You'll get the letter, the sample letter that explains your application and the reason for the public hearing, and also some instructions as well. So if you have any questions, you reach back to me, but you should have that within the next week, 7 days.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay.
So all those certified letters, we're just going to need to see the green receipts back. If you can't get
Right.
to me physically before the next meeting, I'll need to see, photographic evidence or what have you. Just email me.
Perfect. I can do that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next order of business is Tarpon Tower 2 LLC, Verizon Wireless. Just as an explanation for some of the public that wasn't made aware of this through letters from our board. Two documents came in after the definitive close of the November 4th public hearing. In consultation with our legal counsel and the understanding that courts have held that a new public hearing should be held if the ZBA receives information subsequent to the close of the initial public hearing, in order to afford all interested parties the opportunity to comment or rebut the factual information that may ultimately impact the ZBA's decision on this matter. Two documents came in after the fact. Both are enough that we felt that the public needed to be aware of them and have an opportunity to do a rebuttal or comment. So having said that, I'm going to make a motion to set a special virtual reopened public hearing on Tuesday, December 14th at 7 p.m. for rebuttal or comment only on those documents that came in after the close of the initial public hearing. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Patty.
Is there any discussion from the board? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Henry?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Holly?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Just to let the public know, those documents are already posted on our website, so you will be able to read them. And because there is such a short turnaround between this tonight and the public hearing next week, the notice will also be posted on the ZBA website tomorrow morning, on Lighthouse TV tomorrow morning, at the two entrances to Town Hall and in the clerk's office, as well as Hudson Valley One, which will publish Wednesday, and you can read it on Thursday morning. We just ask all the people that are interested to read the public hearing notice carefully, so you know that which documents you may or may not comment on. We're not going to rehash everything. It's just specific documents. Okay, thanks. And now we will go on to,
Patty, may I add something to that?
absolutely. Yes, please, Kim.
When you will see this on the public notice that was drafted, but if you would like to submit written comments, we ask that those be submitted to the ZBA by, I believe it was Friday, December 10th, which gives
Sure.
the ZBA time to review them. And then, we will pass those along to the attorneys. And then on December 14th for the special meeting, that will be for oral comment, and that will be your final comment on the matter.
Correct. Okay,
What time
Thank
is it
you,
again
Kim.
on the 14th?
I'm sorry?
Sorry, can you just repeat the time? Was it 7?
7 p.m.,
Yeah.
7 p.m. on the 14th, Tuesday, the 14th.
Thank you.
And,
Okay.
and comments can be sent to me as well, just so you know, kfreeman@saugertiesny.gov.
And Kevin, you'll put the WebEx up tomorrow morning so that people have that information as well?
Correct. And I'll send that to Mike at the website and make sure.
Okay, thank you. All right, on to the public hearing for Anthony and Jeanette April. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing, please?
I make a motion, we open.
Okay, Henry, do I have a second?
I'll second it, Patty.
Thank you, Tim. All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, before we do that, we need to declare secret, so I'd like to make a motion to declare that this is a type 2, 617.5, parentheses C, parentheses 17, under secret, which is a variance for a side yard variance. Is there a second?
A second.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll just ask for a voice vote, please. Say aye.
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 Aye. Okay. Kevin, did all the cards come back?
Yes, I have Anthony's cards
Okay.
and presents. Yep.
And other than the one letter that came in late this afternoon, which was after the deadline, but we'll send it to everybody anyway. Has anything else come in from the public?
Nope, I had telephone correspondence with a couple neighbors who just wanted clarification as to what the hearing was about. And when they heard, they said they weren't interested in attending, so that was the extent of it.
Right. And just so, Anthony, you know that the one that we did get today just wanted us to call off the hearing. They didn't think you needed to have it, so he was not objecting, so. All right, hearing no other discussion, is there a motion to end the public hearing?
I'll make the motion to
Okay.
end the public hearing.
Is there a second?
I'll second, Patty.
Okay, let's do roll call on ending the public hearing, please. Henry? Henry? I know he's there.
I was muted. Yes.
Oh. You say, how do you vote on ending the public hearing? You can just wave your hand, Henry, that will help.
No, I said I vote yes.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
ending
good.
the public hearing.
Okay, Joe?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Randy?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. Anthony and Jeanette, we will have your decision at the January meeting. We will read it. We will also send you a copy, and then you'll be finished with us. And you may certainly stay for the rest of this meeting, or you may go.
Oh, you can
If you're
take this
leaving, we
one.
wish you a very happy holiday, and we'll be in touch with you, okay? Okay. I hope they heard me. Okay,
I think they did.
okay, good. Okay, on to Kinnery West. We're moving quickly.
I just wanted to bite the thing.
Let's
Take
see,
it.
I don't know, there's another whole.
What? Did I say something? Okay.
Henry's not muted.
Oh, okay. I'm going to read all, maybe just a portion, depending on how my voice lasts. This determination on the application from both Kinnery West and Cantor Hutchison on the application for an interpretation for 1752 Route 212. This property is in the highway business overlay. Kinnery West owners Kim and Gina Kimmery are represented by attorney Mike Moriello. Henry Hutchison and Mark Cantor of 24 Adams Road are represented by attorney Emily Svensson. Both parties asked the ZBA for an interpretation of the building inspector's letter of June 8th, which is attached to the determination, pertaining to a proposed construction demolition processing facility owned by Kinnery West, 1752 Route 212 in Saugerties. Both parties presented the reasons for their applications at a public ZBA board meeting on September 7th, 2021. The minutes of that meeting are attached. A well-attended public hearing was held on October 4th. In addition, letters from the public pertaining to the applications were received by the ZBA and made part of the public record. The application for interpretation dealt with two subjects in the June 8th letter by Alvy Weeks, the Saugerties building inspector and zoning administrator. Number one, Mr. Weeks' instruction that the special permit application must be submitted to the town board to acquire said permit to process construction land clearing debris obtained within the town of Saugerties. And two, whether the property at 1752 Route 212 is permitted to be an accessory use to the property at 1740 Route 212 under section 245-10 of the Schedule of District Use Regulations of the zoning law. In terms of number one, Mr. Weeks cited section 204.4 of the Town Municipal Code in telling Mr. and Mrs. Kinnery that they would need to submit a special permit application to the town board and acquire a special permit for their proposed land clearing. He also said that a permit from the New York State Department of Conservation, NYSDEC, would be required to process overburden such as soil and wood products. Ms. Svensson, on behalf of her clients, agreed with Mr. Weeks on this matter. Mr. Moriello, on behalf of his clients, the Kinnerys, disagreed with Mr. Weeks on these requirements. Both attorney Moriello and his client, Gina Kimmery, stated during the September 7th ZBA meeting that the activities quoted in the building inspector's letter, with the exception of stump grinding, which Ms. Kinnery agreed to do offsite, were indeed part of the plan for the property. Section 24536E 1B of the Saugerty zoning code provides that the ZBA's function is to hear and decide appeals from any decision, determination, act, or failure to act of the building inspector, and all matters properly referred to it by the building inspector. The zoning law does not, excuse me, the zoning law does not, however, give the ZBA the authority to interpret decisions pertaining to Chapter 204 of the town's municipal law. Therefore, the ZBA defers to Mr. Weeks' recommendations pertaining to Section 204 in his January 8th letter. Mr. Weeks, in number 2, cited subsection 245-10, Schedule of District Use Regulations of the zoning law as they pertain to accessory use. He said the schedule, quote, permits accessory uses customarily incident to any use listed therein and on the same lot. The more restrictive laws, such as the town law and NYSDEC, would prevail, unquote. His letter went on to say that after, quote, acquiring the necessary permits from the town board and NYSDEC, only then can the processing facility operate accessory to the permitted excavation company, end quote. Although it was not in Mr. Weeks' June 8th letter, we note that the schedule also permits accessory uses customarily incident to any use listed therein and not on the same lot, because this was mentioned in other correspondence by Mr. Moriello and was part of the general discussion during the initial ZBA meeting with the applicants. Ms. Svensson and her clients disagreed with the building inspector that the proposed processing facility at 1752 Route 212 could be called an accessory use in any instance, given the nature of the proposed activities. Mr. Moriello argued that his client's proposed activities were no different than what other contractors and excavators do. The zoning law's section 245-56, titled General Definitions, clearly defines accessory use as, quote, a use of land or of a building or portion thereof, customarily incidental and subordinate to the principal use of the land or building and located on the same lot with such as the principal use, end quote. Not only is the proposed processing facility not incidental or subordinate to the Kinnery West LLC building on the adjacent property, but by the description of the activities that will take place on the site, the facility will be larger in size and more intrusive in scope. The proposed processing plant is also a use that is not permitted by right in any zone within the town. It is the ZBA's interpretation from the evidence presented by the applicant and other involved parties that the proposed debris processing facility is not an accessory use under the zoning law. Is there a second to this motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Joe. Is there any discussion on the board?
I just had some discussion because I actually sat down with the building inspector. I know we listened to both sides and the lawyers and everybody, and Holly had some good views on it, but I sit down and I talked to Alvy and how he determined that. I feel that I have to side with Alvy's view on that.
Well, when it comes to voting, by all means, every board member gets to vote how he feels.
That's my point of view on it, that's all.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a roll call vote on this determination. Henry?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Randy?
No.
And I vote yes. So this will now go back to Alvy to send to the town board, and then they will make a determination and then perhaps forward it to the planning board. I thank all of the applicants and all of the people who offered up their opinions on this. And I wish you all the best of luck in working this out. And Gina, I particularly thank you for being so gracious during
Thanks.
the public hearings.
Thanks. Can I just ask what this means?
It just means that we agreed with Alvy's letter that as he wrote it, that it goes to the town board and they will make a determination about whether or not this is permitted in that zone.
Okay, so I don't have to do anything right
You
yet. I
don't
don't
have
have
to do
to.
anything.
Okay, I just wait for somebody to tell me what to
Yeah.
do next. Okay,
And we will forward all of the material that you all sent us,
Yep.
both Mr. Moriello and you and Ms. Svensson and all of the people, we will forward that to the town board.
okay,
So that they have that information as well before they make
Right.
any determination, and they may then forward it all to the planning board. So, but our job was just for the interpretation.
so it now goes back to the town board.
Well, I don't think it's gone to the town board yet, whether
Oh, oh.
Albie has sent it to the town board yet. So,
Okay.
Patty, can I ask a question? Is the ZBA saying, I understand the second answer. In the first instance, is the ZBA saying it goes to the town board to be considered whether or not it is a lawful use on the lot, or it goes to the town board to be considered when an application gets made? Is that?
we are simply deferring to Alvy's letter, whether to send it to the town board, because the ZBA has no authority to rule on municipal law, and that section of the law is municipal law. So we are not going any further than to simply defer to his expertise in this, based on what his letter said.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay,
Okay.
Thank you to the board for
Thank you.
all of your time.
Yeah,
well, thank you all.
thank you, everybody. Thank you,
And
thank you,
happy
Kevin.
holidays.
Thank you.
Okay. Now so that is our agenda. Now
Great.
I'd like to just have the board move to the additional business to discuss. And one of those items that I think we need to discuss is the fact that Mr. Olson sent us a letter dated 11/22 asking us to reopen the use and area variance at the Mount Marion Firehouse. At the January 6th meeting, we are planning to vote on the Industrial Drive application currently before us. I am going to suggest, and Kim and John, please let me know if I should make this as a suggestion or whether I should put it in the form of a motion. I'm going to suggest that after we vote on January 6th on the 17 Industrial Drive application, and only if the ZBA does not approve the variances requested in that application by Tarpon Towers and Verizon Wireless, the ZBA would then vote to take the Mount Marion Firehouse use and area application off the table and put it on the February agenda for discussion. Can I have some discussion on that from the board if necessary?
Yeah, that's the proper way to go.
Okay.
So can I just
Kim,
ask
does
a
that have to be in the form of a resolution, or is it just that that's what we're going to be doing at the January 6th meeting?
I think it should just be a discussion. I don't think it needs to be a formal
Okay.
motion.
Okay. For the members of the public here, many of you were not involved in, the ones who were involved in Industrial Drive were not that closely involved in the Firehouse one. That was a Monroe decision, and we decided, the board decided that that was not going to succeed. So Verizon tabled their original thing for a use in an area variance pending what happened on Industrial Drive. So this
Yeah,
is what
Patty,
we are reacting.
just to clarify, so for the public, the Monroe test is if the application for a public utility is on town property, it has the ability to be immune from zoning. And that's what was being discussed during the Mount Marion application, because it was on the fire department's property, is whether, because it would need a use variance and an area variance. And what was being discussed at that time for Mount Marion was whether it was immune from the zoning law or if the applicant would be subject to the zoning law. So the decision made on the Mount Marion by the ZBA so far has been that it is not immune from zoning. And if they continue with that application, they would have to seek the necessary variances from it. And then Verizon and Tarpon Tower asked for that application to be tabled, and then went to look at the alternative, the 17 Industrial Drive, which is what's been going on in front of the zoning board at this time.
So they never actually filed the area and use variance application after Monroe, is that correct?
They did.
No.
They have an
Okay.
They had an application for a use and an area variance for the Mount Marion, and then we started the discussions on the Monroe test.
And the Monroe obviously dealt with just the area variances because the use variance was off the table because it was a public facility and they
Mhm.
didn't need to do a use variance. So Mr. Olson and Mr. Buttigieg, we're going to, Mr. Butland, we'll be taking this up, taking it off the table in January and moving on in discussion on it in February. So just so everybody can kind of plan their calendars. We don't have the calendar, the ZBA calendar yet. Kevin's working on that. We'll send that to you so that you have a better idea of when our meetings are.
I don't think they're on anymore.
What?
I don't think any of them are on.
Yeah, no, they checked out.
Oh, they checked out. Okay.
Hmm.
Can I have a motion from somebody to approve the minutes of the November 4th meeting? And Joe just listened to it live. So Joe, you want to do it?
Make the motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Henry,
Yes, ma'am.
Joe,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Randy?
Yes.
And I say yes. Okay, the only other thing, and I think I'm just looking to see here who's on the call at this point. I think it's mostly, okay, so it's mostly ZBA people and everything. I just wanted to bring you up to date that Jeannie Goldberg's husband will be having surgery on heart surgery in January. And they'll let us know. We don't know what the date is yet, but I know all of you have been asking and are interested in how they're doing, and they're in good spirits. Ken is particularly good. Jeannie's a little nervous, but
One of them is on.
Yeah, I think Ken is on.
It says Ken Goldberg, but I can't.
well,
I can't
Ken,
tell
we're
who it is.
wishing you all the best. Just so you know that. Love from the zoning board.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Patty. Thank you, zoning
Good.
board.
All right.
Yeah.
Hi to Jeannie
This
for
is-
us.
They ask about you all the time, and so I thought this was an opportunity to let them know that you're ready to do it and everything's going to go fine.
Yes, it will.
Okay, so hearing no other business, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, Patty.
Okay, and a second.
I'll second.
Okay. Henry,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Randy,
Yes.
and I vote yes too. You can stop recording right now, Kevin, okay?